I knew she was crazy, but I didn't think she'd go full on Mission Impossible on my barn. I'm talking about Karen Whitfield, our HOA president, self-declared protector of the community, and, as it turns out, low-key criminal mastermind. She broke into my workshop with a crowbar, wearing yoga pants and a hoodie like she was about to bust a meth lab, except all she found were antique chairs, some old chisels, and a camera hidden under a rafter that had been recording the whole thing. Every second. Every word. Every wild-eyed accusation she shouted while the sheriff just stood there, arms crossed, watching her bury herself. Let me back up a sec. My name's Mason Brooks. I'm a carpenter, well, more like a restoration guy. I moved back to Willow Ridge Meadows a few years ago to take care of my mom after my dad passed. They left me the family house, the barn out back, and more memories than I knew what to do with. So I turned the barn into a woodworking space, started fixing up furniture, and kinda disappeared into the sawdust, if you know what I mean. At first, it was peaceful, just me, my tools, the smell of cedar in the air. And then Karen showed up. Now, Karen didn't start as a villain. She showed up with potlucks and newsletters and that tight smile people wear when they're trying to convince you they're the good guy. But it didn't take long before she started measuring mailbox heights, documenting lawn norm violations, and handing out fines for things like non-harmonious paint tones. Yeah, that happened. I mostly ignored her. Kept my head down. But I made the mistake of saying no to her once politely, even when she wanted to inspect my barn for compliance. That was it. From that day on, I was enemy number one. She started slow letters in the mailbox, weird notes about unregistered equipment. Then came the calls to the sheriff, noise complaints, fire hazards, even one claiming I was running an illegal business out of a residential property. Sheriff Rodriguez knew me, though. He'd grown up with my dad. He'd show up, shake his head, file nothing, leave. But Karen didn't let up. And something in me snapped when I saw her peeking through my hedges one morning at 6 a.m., holding a clipboard like she was hunting violations. So I got smart. Called up my buddy Jake, who does home security installs, and we rigged the barn with cameras, discreet, motion-triggered, full audio. Just in case. And then came the incident. It was a Tuesday. I just finished restoring this gorgeous 1920s roll-top Desquanot, carved edges, smooth as glass. I locked up the barn that night, same as always. But around 3:12 a.m., motion sensors pinged my phone. Someone was out there. I tapped the live feed and, there she was, Karen, creeping around with a flashlight, bolt cutters in hand. She snapped the padlock like it was paper, shoved the door open, and stormed inside like she had a warrant. Which she did not have. Now, what she didn't know besides everything about how the law works is that I wasn't home sleeping. I was at Jake's, reviewing a project. So we both watched, live, as she snooped through my tools, opened drawers, flipped through my invoices, and then she found the hidden drawer. Now, here's the twist. That drawer didn't hold anything illegal. What it did hold, though, was something I hadn't even realized was that important until that moment: a stack of original land ownership documents from my grandfather's time, complete with mineral rights, boundary maps, and a signed copy of a water rights contract that, let's just say, directly contradicted the new land annex proposal Karen had been trying to push through at the last HOA meeting. Yeah. You see where this is going. Turns out, Karen wasn't just a nosy neighbor. She was in deep with the development group Pacific Horizon that had plans to revitalize Willow Ridge by turning it into a golf resort and condo village. All they needed was a few stubborn properties off the map. Mine included. That night, she took photos of everything. Whispered to herself about timelines, threats, leveraging nuisance violations. We had it all. When she walked out of the barn, she smiled at the camera. She never noticed, like she'd just cracked the case. She had no idea that was her confession. Next morning, I called Sheriff Rodriguez. Invited him over for coffee. Showed him the footage. He stared at the screen for a full 2 minutes before muttering, "Jesus Christ, she really did it." We brought in the county investigator. Then the state. Within a week, the HOA office was under audit. Karen's emails got subpoenaed. Turns out she'd been manufacturing violations, editing timestamps, fabricating complaints, even bribing 2 other board members with kickbacks from Pacific Horizon. They traced the money. Found shell accounts. And that's when Agent Serachin from the State Fraud Task Force rode in. Turns out she had been investigating Pacific Horizon for almost a year. She looked at my footage and said, "You just handed us the smoking gun." Karen was arrested 2 weeks later. The charges: trespassing, falsifying public documents, harassment, conspiracy to commit fraud, and, cherry on top, unlawful access to protected land records. Yeah, she pled not guilty. Claimed it was all in the name of community integrity. The judge didn't buy it. She got 6 years. The HOA was dissolved and replaced with a resident-elected committee. Pacific Horizon sued into the ground. They backed out of the project, left the state, and haven't been heard from since. And me? I kept working in the barn. That desk. Sold it to a young couple moving into their first home. The profits. I donated half to a local legal fund for property rights. But here's what stuck with me most after it was over: neighbors started talking. Really talking. People who'd been silent for years, scared, intimidated, they came out with stories. Turns out Karen had been harassing way more folks than I knew. And all it took was one camera. And one stubborn carpenter. So yeah. If you're wondering if small-town power trips can go nuclear, they absolutely can. But here's the thing about people like Karen: they count on you staying quiet. They count on fear doing the work for them. So let me ask you. Ever had a neighbor cross the line? Someone who hid behind rules, but underneath was just greedy or worse. What did you do? What would you do? Drop it in the comments. I wanna hear it. Because I'm telling you, every neighborhood has a Karen. The question is, do they meet someone willing to say, "Not today"? I knew she was crazy, but I didn't think she'd go full on mission, impossible on my barn. I'm talking about Karen Whitfield, our HOA president, self-declared protector of the community, and, as it turns out, low-key criminal mastermind. She broke into my workshop with a crowbar, wearing yoga pants and a hoodie like she was about to bust a meth lab, except all she found were antique chairs, some old chisels, and a camera hidden under a rafter that had been recording the whole thing. Every second. Every word.